Hey y'all, I hope you're having a great day. I am having a great day. Are you having a great day?
I'm having a great day.
I mean, awesome is the only word we can come up with. But y'all, I am so excited because today is the start of a brand new series. And I'm gonna feature my man, Butch Walker. Let me say first that if you're new, welcome. Welcome, welcome. This is Live and Laugh with Linda. I'm Linda and
I'm Butch.
And we're just here to chat today. We're having what we call Tuesday Talks. I'm so excited. All right, listen, I would love to have you join us. Please consider subscribing. I need a subscribe, a like, and share. It would just be fabulous. I would love to have you join us. And all you returning people, don't forget I need a this. Really does help me out. So anyway, we're excited. Butch is excited. I don't think I've ever seen him any more excited. All right, so what we're going to do today is have a little get to know Butch kind of thing. And then we're just going to chat and do a few things. We'd love to hear your comments. We really, really would. So I just want to start by getting to know him. I mean, tell us, babe, where were you born?
I was born in Jefferson County, Kentucky.
What's so great about Kentucky? I mean, I'm sick and tired of hearing about it, being honest.
Well, it's the only state that has beautiful horses and fast women.
What?
Yeah, that's it.
Well, I did live there. That's how I met him. But I wasn't one of those fast women. Shh, say nothing.
Truth is truth.
So Butch likes to talk a lot about his childhood. And he always says he grew up in the hills of Kentucky. Would you please explain that? What do you mean by hills of Kentucky?
Well,
what was your property like?
We lived in an area called Valley Station, and there was a main road that went through the residential area, which all the houses were built on side of hills, and very few were built on the lower bottom half of the area.
Like a holler?
Like a holler, but more developed. There was a lot of farmland, and it was great. A lot of my friends growing up lived in the same area, and we just it was just a great place for kids, especially boys, to grow up. We had lakes, we had creeks, we had hunting every season near the property, and we slaughtered our own animals and harvest all of our gardens, and it was just a good place to learn the value.
Wow, I mean, that's awesome, because that's something we need to talk about someday, about what were the values when we were growing up in the 50s. What was the difference in childhood values they were taught by example from their parents, and in what kids are talking now. I mean, we didn't have a TV till I forget how old. We didn't have any air conditioning till I was 14 years old. And you've talked about the property where y'all lived. It was like 5 acres, and about 3 acres was straight up a hill, because you were kind of tucked in there. So I don't know. Butch says that the word hillbilly is not a negative term, because he talks about himself that way. So I reckon you could call yourself a Kentucky hillbilly, right?
Said and done.
Yep. Wasn't your dad a coal miner at one time?
Well, there's a long story. It goes along with that point. My dad and my uncle, which was his younger brother, they were 2 years apart. My grandfather, on my dad's side, he was a circus, there was another name, a circus rouster, I think that's how they called it.
So when you say circus person, you're talking about the big top, the elephant, all of that kind of circus.
Yeah, when they would travel, they would stop at towns, and people would come on board and help take care of the animals, take care of putting the tents up, doing all that. Well, every time my grandpa would take off, he would be gone for 5, 6, 7, 8 months. It was no certain period. And he had a little problem with moonshine. And
To say the least.
grandfather would stop at an orphanage and put my dad and my uncle in the orphanage at probably the age of 9 to 12, somewhere in there, maybe a little older. And the orphanage would, to get money, would then lease those kids out to the coal mines. And Dad and my
Very
uncle,
very dangerous.
my
job.
dad and uncle would go back into the coal mines, because coal mines, you start off 20 feet deep in height, and it narrows down to a very minimal, which is about 2 feet. Well, being a 12-year-old, they were able to get in there with picks and shovels and dig more coal out, and that's what they did.
Yep.
Until World War II started, and they both ran away underage. My dad was, I think, 17, and my uncle was 15. And they went, and they joined the Army, and both of them served. One served in the Asian front, the other one served in the Europe. And they did good. My dad was very proud of that. That was the first time that anything really good happened to him and my uncle. I'm actually a namesake after my uncle. His name's Clayton. My given name is Clayton. So, to my dad and uncle only had about a 3rd grade education between them. And my mom only had about a ninth grade.
8th, she always told me.
8th grade. And anyway, that's the beginning.
Wow, that's a lot to take in.
Yeah, well, it was a lot to do. And I was the first Walker to graduate from high school.
Yay!
Obviously, and I went to college, had a football scholarship, went to college, and that was a pretty awesome feat by itself.
All right, so, his testimony is so powerful because of what he came from and what he achieved. And I'm just so proud of him. But I want to hear some stuff. I haven't really heard a lot about your very youngest memory in terms of in your environment. Did y'all have running water in your house?
The first house we lived in had a pump, a water pump at the sink.
So that's a no.
We did not have actual pressure water. No, it was a pump.
So you had an outhouse that you used.
We had an outhouse. Yes.
All right, but it did have electricity.
The house had electricity.
So listen, y'all. No water, no running water, no bathroom, no cell phones, guys, no TV, nothing electronic. But gee whiz, you made it, didn't you? I mean, that's amazing. And instead of learning all the other stuff, he learned the values of life. So anyway, tell me, you've told me this story before. I think it's the funny. Now, Butch's granddaddy lived with them all his life. He moved in pretty much when Mr. Walker and his mama married. But tell me a funny story about Jess. I mean, this guy, I came in the family, and being honest, I was a little bit scared of him. He did make his own moonshine, and you just had, anyway. So Butch, tell me this story about the outhouse. I think it's hilarious.
And but Grandpa would come out. His room was in the front of the house, and he'd go through the living room and a big fireplace. And anyway, he was pretty drunk. And Dad told me, he said, watch your grandpa. So when he would get up and go outside, I'd go with him, and when he would get up and go anywhere, I would go with him. So finally, he got up one night and made some comments, and I won't repeat them, and went outside to go to the outhouse. And we waited about 15 minutes. He didn't come back, and it was snowing. Had probably 8 inches of snow on the ground, cold. And Dad said, "Go check on Grandpa." So I get my 4 buckles on and go walk through the snow, and I start yelling at them, "Grandpa, Grandpa, Grandpa." Finally, I hear this mumbling, and I opened up the outhouse door, and he had fallen through the seating area, which is nothing but a wood with a hole cut into it, and he was hanging on by his hands, yelling, "Get me out of here! Get me out of here!"
Oh my goodness.
So I run in the house, tell Dad. Dad, I mean, we all go out there, and Dad gets him out, and I mean, it's freezing, and he was up to here. I mean, literally up to here.
He was like a pig in. Don't say it.
Yeah. And so Mom said, "What are we gonna do with him?" Dad said, "We're gonna have to give him a bath." Anyway, he got cleaned up, and
that's a funny story.
And it was hilarious. I mean, it was some of the things that were said. Again,
maybe not so funny at the time.
Yeah, but it was. I mean, he could have died.
Yeah, he could
have. And so the next day
that'd be a terrible way to go, don't y'all think?
Yeah. The next day we tore down the outhouse and
started building a bathroom.
Started digging a hole and to get another outhouse put up, because that was our only means besides the tree. And so that kind of happened.
Okay.
That was funny.
That sounds like his childhood was such an adventure. I want to go back to one thing you had said about your dad. Back in those days, they still had orphanages in big cities. Nowadays, they don't do that anymore. They have group homes and all like that. And of course, you couldn't, in this day and time, you could never drop a kid off to be rid of them for 3 or 4 months. And that's kind of what his granddaddy did. And he would just drop them off and come back and get them when he was in between jobs or whatever. So he was a little coal miner boy. Okay, I got a question. Were you a good little boy?
According to my mom, I was perfect. According to my dad, I was spoiled brat. According to my grandpa, I wouldn't. Well, I ain't gonna say that. So it's just it was good. It was a great place for a boy to grow up, and it was just wonderful. I wish that I could have provided that for my kids.
What's something that you did as a child that would get you in trouble? Because his mama said, Butch could do no wrong.
If I didn't milk the cows before I went to school,
then you'd get in trouble.
I'd get all kinds of trouble.
My gosh. Did you have a best friend?
I had one lived a couple doors down, a couple acres down, and his name was Wayne Purvis. And
you talk about Wayne sometimes.
Yeah, Wayne was my buddy. We did everything together. We went fishing together. We went frogging together. We did all kinds of stuff. And to this day, I think, excuse me, from this day, I still think a lot of him, because he was a good kid. And
we got to look him up one day and see if he's still around.
Yeah.
By the way, y'all, I got my Grow in God's Grace cup. Somebody gave me for my birthday. I'm drinking my water out of it. What you got over there in your cup?
I just got water.
All right. So now we're going to move ahead a little bit when you were older. I have a serious question I want to ask you. Very serious. Let me just get my handy dandy. Okay. Have you ever, now you need to think before you speak, bucko. Have you ever made up a story to impress a girl?
As often as I could get by with it. One I did her on.
That's what I want to hear. And I believed this till about 5 years ago.
When I was about 13, 14.
Now, wait a minute. You met me much later.
Who's telling the story, me or you?
Oh, man.
We had my brother and I, my older brother, which was 2 years older than me, we had bikes. And my bike had, it was just, a regular two-wheel bike. And he was pushing me. And he was pushing me too fast, and he pushed me over the creek bank. And I fell into the creek, and there was a piece of metal sticking up from the handlebars, and it cut me about a 2-inch gap right here over my stomach. And I have a scar there. Well, Linda asked one time about it, and I told her, I said, well, I was trying to protect a girl, and I fought a guy off, and he stabbed me.
Yeah.
And she bought it hook, line, and sinker.
Seriously, he was at the drive-in movie,
Yeah.
and this girl was getting attacked.
Yeah.
And he jumped out of his car.
Yeah.
He was with somebody else, and he came over there. He was going to conquer all and be the hero, and some guy knifed him. Listen, you know, I believed that till all my kids was still grown, and then he tells me the truth later. I think that's because, you know, after he came to Jesus, he was starting to feel guilty. But anyway, that's a man thing right there. So anyway, that's funny. Yeah. Well, y'all, I've had a great time. I hope you getting to know my man just a little bit. He's got some great stories, and it's amazing. We'll tell you the story how we got put together, and that because we come from two completely different worlds. But his mom and dad are both passed. But your dad, he did not have a regular childhood. He didn't have anybody to nurture him. He didn't know what it was to have a mother. And so I remember he embraced back in the 60s, or maybe it was 70s, he embraced that show, Little House on the Prairie. He wished he would have been born in that time. But he so wanted that kind of family. And he did the best he could with what he had in tools he had in his hand. And we all hope that we do better in the next generation. Isn't that the truth? All right, y'all be blessed. I'm going to take another sip out of my water. Yeah. Also, I got my sassy glasses on today. Butch has his Kentucky shirt on because he still bleeds blue. What is that thing sitting over there?
This is...
Show it over here in the camera.
This is the truth about football in the state of Kentucky.
Look at there. Look at that.
This is a Kentucky Wildcat bowling a Louisville Cardinal.
Because they're big rivals.
And it's the truth. It's what we do.
Look at this. Turn it sideways. Look at there. He's cooking up a Cardinal because Butch was a big Kentucky fan. All right.
I still am.
All right. So y'all be blessed. Say, find something to smile about.
And say something to smile about.
Find something to smile about. And we'll see you later, won't we, babe?
Yep.
Can you get over here and get a... I don't think I'll try to get a kiss. I think that would about kill. Hey, we're having a great day. You do the same. And I will see you next time. Bye now.
Thank y'all for listening to me.
Bye.